O chosen one, step into your private place, close the outer door, and let every noise of the world recede in this moment. I am Michael, sent to remind you that there are messages not given in the midst of noise, not received when your mind is being pulled away by too many voices, and unable to blossom within you if you keep allowing others to enter the place meant only for the meeting between you and God. What is being placed before you today is not a passing form of entertainment, nor is it an ordinary line of text among the countless things you see each day. It has been preserved for a long time, quietly passing through seasons when you were not yet ready, until it found you at this very hour. Beloved child, I know that recently you have felt something very strange. You step into crowded places, yet your heart still feels as though it is being drawn into a deeper silence. You hear many sounds, many pieces of advice, many opinions, but not every voice brings peace. There is a part of you that has been waiting for a very personal confirmation, yet you have not known what to call the thing you are waiting for. You thought you were simply tired, that you only needed rest, that you only needed a change of space, but in truth, God is gently drawing you away from scattered things, bringing you into an inner room where you can hear clearly the gentle calling you have long missed because you were too busy. Therefore, in this moment, do not rush to share this with others before you have truly received it yourself. There are seeds that need to be planted in a hidden place before they are brought into the light. There is guidance that, if spoken too soon, can be diluted by doubt, discussion, or misunderstanding from those who were not entrusted with that portion. I am not telling you to isolate yourself from love, but I am teaching you to guard what is holy until it becomes steady enough within your heart. The privacy of today is not distance. It is a covering garment, so that what is precious may grow in peace. Let your hands rest. Let your shoulders drop. Let the tangled thoughts become still. Do not click away simply because the familiarity of distraction wants to pull you back. God is preparing to speak to you in a very gentle way, not to make you afraid, but to bring you nearer to light, wisdom, and the pure path preserved for you. Receive this moment alone, beloved child, because there are things you can only recognize in stillness. When you realize that heaven has drawn closer to you than you ever thought, the door behind you is not a sign of separation, but an invitation to enter the deepest inner place, where heaven calls you to be met, to rest, and to be seen exactly as you are. My beloved child, I, Michael, am standing near you in gentleness and protection, reminding you that this moment is not meant for haste. Before you hear another word, pause for a little while. Do not let your hand keep sliding across the screen out of habit. Do not let your mind be pulled toward another sound, another device, or another small task demanding your attention. Lay down whatever you are holding. Let your back rest against the chair. Breathe in deeply and slowly, as though all week long you had forgotten that you, too, need to breathe in peace. Now, look around the place where you are sitting. Do not see this room as an ordinary space. That corner of the wall, that light, that chair, the silence surrounding you right now, all of it has witnessed more than you realize. They were there on the evenings when you were too tired to say another word. In the moments when you tried to remain quiet, so no one would notice that you were trembling within. In the times when you only wanted to sit down and no longer have to be strong in front of others. There are places in your life that are not loud or splendid, yet they become witnesses to the gentlest truth about you. This room knows a version of you the world rarely sees. Not the version that knows how to smile at the right time, how to answer that you are fine, how to stand upright among people who need you to be steady. Not the version that has learned to hide weariness behind politeness, disappointment behind silence, and deep questions behind an ordinary face. I am speaking to another version of you, the version that lives behind the closed door, the version that exhales softly when no one is watching, the version that lets the shoulders drop because at last there is no need to play the role of being strong anymore. It is you, in that truthfulness, whom heaven has come to find tonight. Not you when you are perfect. Not you when you have arranged all your emotions neatly. Not you when you have enough explanations for everything that has happened. I come to you right here in this room, in your truest posture, to say that God is not unfamiliar with the parts you often hide. He does not only love you when you stand firm before the crowd, He is also gentle with you when you sit quietly in your private corner, when your breath is still heavy, when your heart still needs to be supported. So do not run from this stillness. Do not rush to put on the familiar mask again. Remain in the room that is becoming a holy meeting place between you and the presence from above. Tonight, this message is not sent to the image you try to preserve before the world, but to your real self, the one who has endured much, stayed silent for a long time, and needed a safe place to be reminded that you are still seen, still loved, and still called inward into the light. Before you go deeper, I need you to remain in listening until the end, because what is being opened within you will become clearer through each layer of words being placed down. Beloved child, I, Archangel Michael, do not invite you to stay because the first things are not strong enough, but because there are truths that can only touch you when your heart stops rushing and begins to become still. The deeper you go, the more you will recognize what season you are truly in. Why the signs lately have not been imagination, and why you no longer need to keep doubting the things your inner being has sensed for a long time. A guidance is drawing near. Not loud, not forceful, but deep enough to name the things you have carried in silence for many years. You will understand why some people who were once very close have suddenly become distant. Not every distance is a loss, and not every departure is a sign that you have been left behind. There are times when heaven separates you from certain voices, certain habits, and certain familiar places, not to make you lonely, but to protect the purity growing within you. If an old door no longer opens as before, perhaps it is because you are being led out of what once wore down your peace. If someone no longer walks with you as they once did, perhaps you have not lost them. Perhaps you are being kept from continuing to shrink yourself to fit into a space that has become too narrow. The first thing your inner being has recognized is that conversations you once loved are now beginning to make you tired. The jokes that once made you laugh now sound light and empty. The gossip that once drew you in now makes you feel as though something rough is rubbing against your peace. The groups of people that once gave you a sense of belonging now become a quiet burden when the day closes. You are not becoming arrogant, nor are you becoming cold. You are simply awakening to the things that no longer align with the maturity God is forming within you. So do not quickly call this change bitterness. Do not blame yourself because you no longer feel comfortable in places that were once familiar. You are returning to something truer within yourself. I am near you to remind you that this sensitivity is a gift, not a fault. Stay in this quiet room with me, so that each word that follows may help you understand what needs to be released, what needs to be kept, and what is being named, so you can step into the new season with clarity, peace, and dignity. The second thing taking place within you is quieter, beloved child, but no less important. The things that once made you feel restored are now beginning to feel noisy, faded, and unable to hold your heart as they once did. I, Michael, stand near you to remind you that this is not a sign that you are losing joy, nor is it proof that something within you has gone wrong. This is a gentle separation. The pleasures that once helped you forget weariness for a short time are no longer deep enough to support you, because you are being led to a truer, more enduring, and purer source of peace. Perhaps you realize you no longer have enough patience to finish the films that once kept you awake until midnight. Perhaps the plans that once made you excited all week now make your heart feel heavy, as though a part of you secretly hopes they will be cancelled. Perhaps the gatherings, habits, and forms of entertainment that once helped scatter your thoughts now only make you more tired. Do not be afraid of that too quickly. When a person is being lifted into greater awareness, the false lights that once attracted them gradually lose their power. Not because life is becoming dark, but because the eyes within you are learning how to see true light. I want you to understand that the thinning of your desire for distractions is a grace. Before, you may have needed them so you would not have to face emptiness, worry, old memories, or unanswered questions. But now, God is teaching you not to run from silence anymore. He is helping you distinguish between what makes you temporarily forget and what truly makes you steady again. The lures must become boring before the true signal can appear clearly. If everything distracting still remains too attractive, you will struggle to hear the guidance calling you into a deeper place. So, when you see that old things no longer bring you joy the way they once did, do not force yourself to return just to feel normal. Perhaps you are not losing yourself. Perhaps you are finding the purest part of yourself again. Perhaps the silence you once feared is the very place where the answer begins to form. Perhaps the emptiness appearing now is not meant to make you lonely, but to create room for what truly belongs to the new season to enter. Let the luring lights go out by themselves. Beloved child, do not grieve the noise simply because it was once familiar. I am standing beside you in this process of refinement, and I tell you that the true signal is drawing nearer. When false things lose their attraction, you will hear more clearly the call of peace, of purpose, of healthy love, and of the path prepared specifically for you. The third sign is appearing in the small things you have begun to notice, the details repeating too many times for you to dismiss them as meaningless coincidence. Beloved child, I, Michael, want you to hear this in peace. There are seasons when heaven does not speak to you with a loud echo, but through quiet points of light placed along the path you walk. A repeating number appearing before your eyes at different times. A certain hour showing up on the clock when you were not even looking for it. A phrase repeated by people who do not know one another. Or a song unexpectedly finding you on the very morning when your heart feels weakest. All these things may look small, but they are not always empty. You have wondered whether your mind is simply arranging scattered fragments into meaning. You reminded yourself not to overinterpret, not to be too sensitive, not to look for signs everywhere. I understand that caution, and I do not want you to live in superstition or haste. But I also want you to know that the high heavens have many gentle ways of awakening your attention. Not every repetition is guidance. But when something keeps returning to you with peace, reminder, and clarity, pause long enough to ask where it is trying to lead your eyes. Those signs do not come to replace wisdom, but to walk alongside the discernment within you. They are like small pieces of light placed along the road, not forcing you to run, but inviting you to slow your steps and recognize that you are not walking through this season with covered eyes. Perhaps you asked for a confirmation, then became too busy to notice that it arrived in a very gentle form. Perhaps you asked to be guided, but expected that guidance to appear very clearly, while heaven was using simple things around you to remind you that you are still being watched over. Beloved child, do not worship the signs, but do not despise the care hidden behind them either. A merciful Father does not let you walk through a season of transition in obscurity. He knows you need to be reminded that you are not alone, that the path is still being marked, and that even your worst days can contain a word of comfort sent at the right time. Therefore, when those small things appear, keep your heart soft, awake, and humble. Let them lead you back to peace, not pull you into confusion. Let them open your eyes to the Holy Presence quietly guiding the way. I am reminding you that what you see is not always meaningless repetition. There are moments placed into your life as markers, as gentle whispers saying, continue, pay attention, believe that the path has not been abandoned. When you learn to recognize the small signals without losing balance, you will understand that heaven is guiding you with both power and subtlety. The first seal has broken, beloved child, and the flow of provision that was once blocked over your life is being released under divine order. I, Michael, draw near to you in this hour to remind you that the years of lack, striving, waiting, and wondering why your labor had not yet borne fruit are not the end of your story. There were things once held back, opportunities that once passed around you, doors that seemed tightly locked, not because you were unworthy, but because your season had not yet entered its appointed time of opening. But now, the movement has begun, and what was once restrained is finding its way back to its proper place. In the days ahead, walk with awakened eyes and a peaceful heart. Provision may come through an unexpected amount, an opportunity that seemed far away, a surprising invitation, a door that had been silent suddenly opening, or an arrangement that makes you realize heaven is still working quietly. I do not want you to receive this with greed or haste, but with gratitude and wisdom. When the flow is cleared, you must know how to guard it with purity, manage it with discernment, and not let the old days of lack make you act from fear. Therefore, do not allow doubt to return and dim what is opening. The old voices may whisper that nothing has changed, that you have hoped many times before, that this time will be the same as the others. But I say to you, do not let the past teach you to close your heart before the new season. Continue to believe. Continue to observe. Continue to keep your words in peace. There are very small signs that will come before the greater shift appears. And the awakened one is the one who knows how to recognize the first movements of light. Now, I lead you to the second seal, the seal that was once placed upon your connections and relationships. This seal kept many suitable people from drawing near at the right time, made you feel lonely, even when many people were around you, and caused you to keep encountering connections that drained you instead of supporting you. You asked yourself why you were so often misunderstood, why your sincere heart attracted people who did not know how to value it, why you kept having to leave places that once seemed safe. I want you to understand that this does not mean you are hard to love. It only shows that the flow of your connections needed to be purified. And now, the second seal is also beginning to crack open. Heaven is rearranging the people who are permitted to enter your new season. Those who come only to take advantage of your tenderness will gradually lose their place. Ambiguous connections will be made clear. Those who truly carry peace, support, honesty, and respect will begin to find you in natural yet meaningful ways. Listen carefully. Beloved child, I am about to lead new people near you, not to fill the emptiness with noise, but to walk with you in purity, maturity, and light. Every season of testing that lasted longer than what you considered fair was not a sign that you had been abandoned, but a process through which heaven was shaping you for something greater. Beloved child, I am Michael, and I want you to hear this in peace. The prayers that once fell into silence, the doors that once closed before you could understand why, the paths that were blocked just as you began to hope. All of these are not necessarily punishment. Do not quickly conclude that you heard the calling wrongly. And do not think your worth has decreased simply because your journey is slower than someone else's. There are delays that do not come to shame you, but to create within you a foundation strong enough for what you are about to enter. You have passed through seasons that were difficult for others to understand. They saw you standing still, but they did not see the corrections happening within you. They saw opportunities not yet opening, but they did not see the wisdom growing through each moment of waiting. They saw you in a place that seemed small, but they did not know that heaven was removing from you false layers of identity, borrowed beliefs, unpurified ambitions, and fears that had quietly controlled your steps. What outwardly looked like delay was inwardly preparation, what the world called being lost. Heaven may have been calling separation for training. Remember Moses, who spent many years in the wilderness before standing before a decisive morning. The longest part of his story was not the crossing moment, but the years in which he was stripped of his old self. People might have only seen a man once familiar with power, now living in a deserted place. But heaven saw a man being softened, humbled, taught to listen, and prepared to lead with humility instead of relying on status. The same is true for you. There are seasons in your life that are not applauded by the crowd, but are used by heaven to build a depth no one can take away. Therefore, do not despise the place where you are being trained. Do not call the wilderness failure when it may be the classroom of maturity. Do not call silence absence when it may be the place where you learn to trust without needing every step explained. I am standing near you in this process, protecting you from receiving too soon, leading you away from doors that no longer fit, and preparing within you the capacity for the new season. What is being formed in you is more enduring than hurried success. When your morning of crossing comes, You will understand why heaven took time to form you before entrusting something great to you. Many of you have waited so long that waiting no longer feels like a temporary season, but has quietly become part of the way you recognize yourself. Beloved child, I see this very clearly. You have remained in that silence for so long, grown used to hoping and then reassuring yourself, grown used to standing behind a door without knowing when it will open, grown used to living between promise and fulfillment until you began to wonder who you would be if one day the waiting truly ended. But Michael, draw near with mercy to say that you were not created to remain forever in the hallway of preparation. That season had a purpose. It had its work. It trained you in the hidden place. But it is not permitted to become your permanent home. What is about to change in your life is not only your circumstances, not only an open door, an answer sent, or something you once prayed for beginning to take shape. The deeper thing is that you yourself will be different when it arrives. For while you thought you were only waiting for something outward to be built for you, the realm of light was also quietly building a new steadiness within you. You learned to leave places that no longer fit your growth. You learned not to force yourself into rooms that caused your heart to lose peace. You learned to pray with trust rather than panic, to remain silent without bitterness, to release without seeing it as failure. The signs you are experiencing are not meaningless fragments. The withdrawal from old things, the change in how you speak to heaven, the dreams carrying a sacred feeling, the passing sadness without a clear reason, the strange peace even though circumstances have not fully changed, and the sense that something is drawing very near. All of these are forming a pattern. They do not come to confuse you, but to tell you that you are standing at the edge of an important change of season. What was once held back is beginning to move. What was once covered is gradually being revealed. What you thought was still far away is drawing closer with very ordered steps. So do not be afraid when your inner being no longer fits the old season. That is not a sign that you have lost direction. It is evidence that you are being repositioned. You are no longer only someone waiting for release. You are becoming someone discerning enough to step into that release without losing yourself. I am gently reminding you that the season of waiting has completed its part. Now, prepare your heart, because the threshold before you does not only lead you to something new, but also leads you into becoming the version of yourself that has been trained, softened, and strengthened to receive it in peace. There are things only someone carrying the burden of a chosen one can truly understand, because not every heaviness can be explained with words, and not every journey can be seen by outsiders as it is truly taking place within you. I am Michael, drawing near to you with the mercy of heaven, to remind you that God has seen the parts you no longer know how to describe. Many times, you tried to speak about what you were going through, but words became too small before the depth of what you were carrying. How could you explain the feeling of being prepared for something great while still being unable to see it clearly? How could you make others understand what it feels like to hold the purpose placed within you while also living in a prolonged season of waiting? As though one of your hands is holding the promise while the other is still being held back by time. Beloved child, I know that tension has made you tired. You do not lack faith, yet you have awakened in silence after nights of praying with all your trust. You do not lack obedience, yet many times you walked according to what God placed within you and then realized the road ahead was still covered in mist, not yet fully open. You do not lack devotion, Yet you have given yourself wholeheartedly in seasons that seem to receive no recognition, where no one saw, no one understood, and no one acknowledged the value of what you were quietly laying down. That can make you wonder whether you are moving in the right direction, whether those hidden efforts have meaning, whether God is truly using this season to build something deeper. I say to you, yes. Not one step taken in obedience is forgotten. Not one prayer in the secret place is taken lightly. Not one drop of your weariness is overlooked by heaven. There is a very particular loneliness that you have come to know too well. It is not the loneliness that comes from lacking people around you, because you can stand in a room full of voices, full of faces, full of movement, and still feel that you are carrying something no one can touch. It is the loneliness of someone who sees beneath the surface, feels the hidden vibrations more clearly, recognizes what others overlook, and carries a seriousness not everyone is sensitive enough to understand. You have smiled while feeling heavy inside. You have stayed silent while others spoke about very light things. While you were fighting to keep your peace, you have wondered why you are so different, why you cannot easily live superficially, why small things touch you so deeply. I want you to know that this difference is not your fault. God did not create you merely to dissolve into the crowd. There are people placed in life with a special spiritual sensitivity, not so they become proud, but so they learn to walk more carefully, love more deeply, pray more truthfully, and recognize guidance in things others do not notice. But that gift also comes with a burden. You feel more, think more deeply, carry more responsibility, and sometimes wonder why things others can easily forget remain within you for so long. I do not come to tell you to become harder in the way the world expects. I come to remind you that God will teach you to carry it with peace, not with exhaustion. Your waiting seasons are not meaningless gaps between promise and fulfillment. They are places where you are trained, cleansed, rebuilt on a truer foundation, and freed from the need to be understood by everyone. If God has allowed you to pass through a journey that few people can explain, it is because He is building within you a steadiness that does not depend on applause. If He has allowed you to learn how to stand in silence, it is because your voice later must carry purity, unmixed with the need to prove yourself. If He has allowed you to keep walking when the road was not yet clear, it is because He is teaching you to trust the One who leads more than the map in your hand. So, beloved child, do not despise your burden, but do not let it crush you either. Bring it closer to God. Let Him distinguish for you what is true responsibility and what is pressure you took upon yourself because you wanted to save everyone, please everyone, or explain everything. The chosen one is not called to be exhausted in silence, but to walk in guidance, in wise boundaries, and in preserved peace. I, Michael, remind you that you do not need to be understood by everyone in order to continue. As long as God knows you, sees you, and leads you, you have not lost your way. Stand firm a little longer, but do not stand firm through the old way of forcing yourself. Breathe deeply. Lay down what was not assigned to you, and let God lift the heaviest part that you have tried to carry alone for too long. This preparation has not lasted long to make you despair. It is bringing you to a time when what you have quietly endured will be transformed into light, wisdom, and gentle strength. You are not alone in that crowded room. You are not invisible in that season of testing. You are being seen, preserved, and prepared for something far beyond what you can put into words today.